listening to your friends telling you that this class might be worthwhile. So if you have the towel or blanket, I'm going to use this for a seat, and I could use a block. I've just been liking this recently. So I'll roll it up so I have this kind of tight, small, rolled kind of bolster. And if you're comfortable sitting cross-legged, sit cross-legged. And if you prefer folded shins or anything like that, you can do really whatever seat feels good, or if it was especially bothersome, you could start lying on your back and just do some different things from here. But if possible, a cross-legged seat, and take your hands to hold onto your rib cage so that you have this proprioceptive tool of your fingers holding onto your own ribs and feeling for the movement of the lungs from inside of the rib cage. If it's okay to close your eyes, close your eyes. And feel your ribs shrink and exhale more completely. So think of squeezing the breath out of you slightly. And then let your breath in expand your rib cage completely in all directions as much as possible. Hold briefly at the peak and then use your exhalation and hug center. And do this a few times, tethering your experience, your inner experience, to the sensation of your breathing. To allowing for a more patient state of being where you're watching your experience. As I mentioned this last week, like you're logging time in the present. As weird as that sentence sounds, in some points of my life, it starts to make more and more sense. And keep your breath moving as smoothly as possible. And you're gonna take probably your index finger and middle finger, maybe more, underneath your jaw. So you're on the underside of your chin, basically, underside of your jaw, in what's called the tongue root. And I just want you to poke around in your tongue root, and you may never have even thought about such a thing, but feel it out. And move your tongue around while you do it. Put pressure right toward the chin and then back along either side. You can use all of your fingers, but give a little bit of pressure and move around and see what you find at the root of your tongue. And then if you feel like you're just getting into something interesting there, you can give it more time. But if it's possible, walk back to the hinge of your jaw. And right under the hinge of your jaw, I want you to walk your fingers just to the side so you feel the very, very top of SCM, and press into the sides of your upper side neck, basically, and just poke around there for a second. So you're not on the jaw, you're behind it. Very top of the sides of your neck, very, very near your jawbone. And then walk up the edge of the jawbone into basically the little crevice below your earlobes, and press right at the root of the earlobe, basically, and push inward and maybe wiggle a little bit or move it around as you need to. And then walk forward onto the actual jaw hinge and start to just poke around. You'll find all kinds of interesting things here. So, walk your fingers up to the ridge just at the top of your jaw, and then from that ridge walk inward and you'll find your cheekbones. Keep poking, and then once you've found your cheekbones, walk under the ridge of the cheekbone and poke around in all these weird little places. You'll walk in underneath your cheekbone, keep pressing, so it's basically like you're massaging your gums from the outside, let's say. And then walk in the inner ridge of the cheekbone and poke around in here. There's some really weird, I find this to be the weirdest place, but find your fingers moving around outer sides of your nostrils, just below your tear ducts, and just move the tissues from there. Go down more toward the jaw, toward the outer ridge of the nostril. Especially the top of your gums. Feel for that, right near your nostrils. And then you're gonna walk out back basically where you were, under the cheekbones, go back to the hinge of the jaw and give this more attention. Probably use more fingers. You can open, close your jaw while you're here. You can move it side to side or whatever, but just keep poking around in there. And find your way toward like basically the very back molars on your lower jaw and poke in there and then move your mouth open, close. It must look so ridiculous, but just go with it. Yeah. And then go right down to the hinge, the very, very tip of your jawbone, and open, close your mouth a few times. And then just let your hands rest in your lap for a sec. Sit tall and see what you feel. Take a couple of deeper breaths, recognizing probably the breath went out the window through a lot of that massage. Totally normal. Just notice it. And then take your left fingers, and I'm going to mirror this if you are watching me right now, but take your left fingers to your left collarbone and walk in toward the sternum. Find the place where your collarbone and your sternum meet, and then just south of there and just to the side, the left of the collarbone, press 3 or 4 fingers and put like a pin against the skin of the chest, just beneath the collarbone. Really, it's the muscle beneath the collarbone. And then put your right hand on top of your left hand and just use both hands to create pressure there, pulling downward on the chin, the skin of the chest. And then lift your chin up and keep pressure below the collarbone. And with your chin up, go arcing over to your right and feel what that's like. And then jut your bottom jaw forward, bottom teeth forward. Should feel kind of intense, like I feel that right up my jaw. And then go back up to the ceiling, go over to your left and the chin toward the chest. And then reverse, and do this, you've kind of got an idea where you're going now. So lift chin way up, go way over to the side, pulling down on the skin of the chest the whole time. Move your jaw around a little bit. But keep a pin in the skin below the collarbone. Move around here for another breath or two. Pull the skin away from where your chin is and see what that feels like. And if you're ready, come back to center. Just rest for a sec. Draw your ears back, situate your skull really tall, and then you'll turn your chin over one shoulder. And then you'll come to center and you'll turn your chin over the other shoulder. And center, go back and forth. And then draw to center. Find your right fingers at your right collarbone, walk in and find that little landmark where the collar and the sternum meet. Just go to the right of it and just below the collarbone and pin the skin of your chest, your upper inner pectoral muscle, and pull downwards. This is also where your SCM connects. So we're looking at this big muscle on the side of your neck. Push down into the chest and then take your left hand on top of your right, pull the skin of the chest downwards, and then lift your chin. Pull down on the skin of the chest as you lift the chin, and then take the chin way over to the left. Keep the pin on the chest. Jut the bottom jaw forward. Move it around. Look ridiculous. It's fine. And then chin back up. Go way, 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 way to your right, and then down toward your chest. And then you've got the idea, so you move in any way that feels interesting. You arc your head to the side or laterally bend your neck. Keep moving your jaw throughout this motion. Think of pulling down and away as your chin goes over to your left. Take another breath like this. And then in the center, skull draws back, sit really tall, and turn your head one direction. Then come to the center and turn your head the other way. Center as you breathe in. Now come to center and pause, sit tall, take a couple of steady breaths. Place one hand at the front of your chest and the back of the other hand to the back of your chest and squeeze in towards center. The opening breath work is Brahmari, and this might be new to some of you. You're basically just going to hum. So think of the Om without the AU sound. It doesn't have to happen in any particular note. You can take or leave it if this is weird for you. Take a deep breath in. Exhale completely. Breathe in completely. Breathe in, do it again. One more time. Sit in that vibration for a moment. There, now your throat chakra is completely clear. There is no coronavirus, it's just blocked throat chakras. Come off your seat. You're gonna stay seated, but probably put the blanket to the side. You won't need it really for the opening sequence. You're gonna stay facing the edge of your mat, so if you're facing the camera, you may wanna orient yourself slightly differently, but you're gonna face sideways on your mat and sit in Sukhasana. So you've got your right shin crossed in front of your left. You're crossed in the middle of the shins instead of at the ankle. It's not wrong, it's Sukhasana in my understanding, cross middle shins. So if you look at it, it kind of is like a little regression of square pose, let's say. Set your fingertips forward and wide of your two knees. And if you can be like that, be like that. If your proportions don't work that well, like that, have your hands on your knees and just do it from there. But if you can, you're gonna straighten your elbows and take a steady breath in to fill your lungs and to lift your crown. Take a whole breath in here. As you exhale, you'll bend at your elbows and pour your weight forward over your two legs. The chin's gonna drop at the end of the breath out. That's the deepest part of the stretchy stuff. As you breathe in, just straighten your elbows, go really slow. Wave your spine up. Your crown will lift at the peak of the breath in. And then with your exhalation, rounding forward, resisting gravity slightly. Get completely empty as your head drops. And you're gonna inhale, wave up. Exhale, wave forward. Again, like this. Now this time, kind of spring off the fingers. You're gonna reach your arms up overhead. You're gonna hook your thumbs one in front of the other. So your thumb pads are hooked, they're pulling on each other, your elbows are really, really straight. This breath work might also be new to some of you. It's called Bhastrika. So it's instead of like Kapalabhati, which is all out, 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 this is in, out, in, out, in, out. Take an exhale completely. And begin. Slow the rhythm if possible. Take a full inhale. Hold the top of the breath in. And then as you exhale, release all your fingertips behind you on either side of you and lift your chest. You're in a reverse cow situation. Pull your shoulder bones towards your back body, lift your chest way up. Take another deep breath like this. and a full breath out. Now from there, it's weird that I'm gonna switch at this point, but I'm gonna mirror you for this part. So your right ankle will be pulled in toward your groin, and your left leg will be straight toward the corner out in front of you on your mat. And then put your left fingertips on the inside of your ankle or shin or whatever. Turn your chest open toward your right knee. Reach your arm to the side and then reach up. Reach up before you even consider going side bending. Reach way, way, way up. Heavy your right pelvis to the floor, and then start to side bend. Reach the arm more overhead. Maybe you crawl your left fingers further toward the inside of the left heel, but spin the rib cage open to your right and see if you can pull your right pelvis down. Give your inner right knee rolling toward your outer right knee. And you'll come back upright, take a breath in, put your right hand out behind you near the edge of the mat, and you're gonna stand up on your right shin and your left foot, and you're gonna make your hips press forward, sweeping your left arm up and behind you. Take a deep breath in from here. As you exhale, you're gonna sit, sweep your left fingers back to the inner ankle, take your right arm open and breathe in. And just for exhale, side bend. Breath in, you come through the center. Place your palm, lift your pelvis, sweep your left arm up and back. This is an inhalation, is gonna bring you to sit. Hand inside ankle, exhale, go the other way. Breathe in, pull toward your right hand, exhale, your pelvis presses forward. Now as you breathe in, sit your butt. Cross your left shin in front of your right, Sukhasana. Put your fingertips forward, straighten your elbows, and just take an inhale to lift your chest. Crown lifts last. Exhale, bend your elbows. Rounding forward. Breathing in, you'll straighten your elbows. Fill your lungs. Peak breath in. Exhale to pour forward. Again like this. One more. Now spring off the fingers, arms overhead. It's the same as last time, but adding a movement. You're gonna in to your right, out to your left. Slow the rhythm. Keep your arms sharp. Breathe in, center, completely fill the lungs. Hold briefly. Exhale, fingertips behind you. Chest pulls forward and up. And you back your weight towards your buttocks. You'll extend your right leg to the corner of the mat that's in front of you. Your left heel pulls in towards your groin. Set your right fingertips inside the ankle or shin or whatever you're working with. Take your left arm wide to the left. Reach it straight up first. Don't even think about side bending yet. Pull your left pelvis heavier. Lift your left fingers up more and then arc. You can crawl your right fingers further inside your ankle or whatever feels good there, but keep using the fingers as a brace so you can spin the ribs open. And then wide left knee and heavy left seat. Now breathing in, come back up. Set your left hand near the edge of your mat, like as if you were gonna turn to that side and go to a down dog. Put your hand there, and then grip your right foot to the floor, press onto your left shin, and reach your left arm up and behind you slightly. You're gonna inhale seated back to Janu. Exhale, hand plants, and left arm reaches overhead. You breathe in through the center, place your palm. As you exhale, hips forward, sweep the right arm up and back. One more time, inhale to sit. Exhale to side bend. Inhale through the center. Exhale to what's sometimes called joy pose. Breathing in, you'll sit. And then cross your legs and just turn toward the front of your mat, whatever direction you're planning on facing, and then come toward a down dog. And have a few breaths. Move around as you need to. Push strongly into your hands. You can move your legs around for now as much as you want. Nod your head and notice what you find there. Check your down dog length. Come to plank pose. And if your shoulders go past your wrist significantly, your down dog was maybe short, and you could lengthen your plank pose to figure it out. So in my understanding, plank is the measuring stick for down dog, and people tend to shorten down dog because they think their feet are supposed to get flat. If your heels easily come down, your dog is probably too short. For some people, that is not the case, but for a lot of us. Push strongly into the ground. Keep the length of your dog as it is. You're going to lift your heels and tap your knees down to the floor at the exact same moment. You'll take an inhale to a cow spine, so open your chest and look up. Take child's pose as you exhale. Push your hands strongly into the floor, and then keep your chin tucked and come up to cat. So you'll round up, chin tucked. The stance is long, leave it that way. Keep your arms straight for a sec. Press your hip bones down first. So you're in what I'd often call like a lazy up dog, and then bend your elbows and let your belly come to the floor, but immediately your shoulders pull back. So that's cobra from cat straight into cobra. When we begin to more flow this, just so you know, there's no actual position where your shoulders end up here, if possible. Take another breath in, heart forward. You're gonna go through your knees to child's pose, hips to your heels, push your palms firmly. Cat pose is your in-breath. You're gonna roll down the front, pelvis first, belly second, ribs might not even touch, right to cobra. Take an inhale, stay here. Through your knees, back to child's pose. Cat spine, breathing in. Pelvis first to cobra, resisted, this is your exhale. Stay in cobra, firm the shoulders, lift the heart. Through your knees, back to child's pose. Now different, come up to fingertips. On fingertips, come up to cat. And then slide your right knee to your right thumb. This is neutral pigeon, your right toes are pointed straight backwards. You're on fingers if you can, if you got blocks. Handy blocks would be great under the hands here, but lift your chest like you wanted to go to up dog, but your right leg got in your way. If possible, you're gonna tuck the back toes for this, and then you're gonna lift the back knee and round your spine completely. So we did a similar movement last week, not in this front shin variation, but the same in the back leg. So round your spine, tailbone is turned down quite strongly. Shoulder blades are rounding toward your side body. Chin tucks. Now take an inhale, wave the spine up. As you exhale, you're gonna bend at your elbows and fold like a child's pose in your right side. As you breathe in, just straighten your elbows. And then lift your back knee and round your spine. One more time, knee down, lift your chest, big breath in. Exhale, you'll bend your elbows. Waving down. Straight arms, breathing in, lift your chest. Now, flatten the palms, probably pull the right knee up to the belly and round into a cat spine plank pose. You'll take three-legged dog, right leg goes up and back. You're gonna bend the right knee, open the hip, and let the whole rib cage turn a little to the right. Now look under your left armpit. See your right toes, and then send your right toes further to your left. So they will be more in your view. Your chest and ribs is open. You should feel your right side waist, like kind of in a weird spot, and psoas / lower back. Maybe you even come to your right fingertips if you're quite confident about that. But notice, if you look at your left knee, did it turn to the right? See if you can spin it forward. Now, come back towards center. You're gonna bring your knee towards your chest. You're gonna step near your right pinky, edge of the mat. Turn your left fingers out, and I would even widen them a bit. Turn your right toes out to the right and flex the foot. So you'll be on the blade edge of the foot. You're gonna take your right hand to your inner knee, and you're gonna press your inner knee wide towards your outer knee, and then turn your sternum towards your left thumb. So your right shoulder collapses. Right side of your waist gets longer. If your knee does not like this, let it go. Keep a strong spread of your right toes, so there's action from the right foot. And then you're going to turn your sternum back toward the, let's say, right corner, bend the back knee if possible, catch the foot if possible. Now the blanket could come in under the knee if this is bothersome. If it's feeling okay for you, pull your heel in tighter. If you can't catch your foot, you could just stay in kind of a lizard variation with this left leg behind you. Now if it's possible, pull your heel in tight and then roll towards your left inner knee. Should feel interesting. And then keep your bum and heel close and roll towards your outer left knee. And then do that back and forth. Maybe you find something really interesting along the way and you want to pause there. Maybe it all feels really interesting and you're getting all of the feels already. So you do whatever you need to. And then the next time you're passing through what you believe to be center, don't slingshot the foot. Set the toes down tucked if you can. You're gonna straighten both legs to pyramid pose. Wide pyramid. If you need your back knee down, like half split with a wide front leg, do that. If you can flex your right foot, flex it. And then think of pulling your right heel down the mat. You might straighten your knee, might not, but if you can, go for it. Feel your outer right buttocks hug in. Hi, kiddo. Now you're going to re-bend your right knee, and then step your left foot wide so you're in Malasana squat, front of your mat, elbows inside your shins, hands together, front of your heart, broaden your collarbones, take a deep breath in like this, and then you'll put your fingertips at the front edges of your mat, lift your butt and parallel your feet, take a halfway lift. You're going to empty softly through the mouth. You're going to stay empty and roll up. So it's kind of like a suggestion of real Uddiyana Bandha, which we'll do next. Take your arms up and breathe in. Take an exhale, just settle with your palms at the very tops of your thigh bones. For this time, I'll just explain this a little more deeply. You're going to sit your butt back like a squat position, but a high squat. Your hands are on the roots of your thigh bones. You're going to take a breath in. And then get as empty as possible. Let the spine wave down. More vigorous, empty as possible. You're going to tuck your chin on empty, close your airway, and lift and round your spine a bit. Pushing down into your thigh bones. Stay empty for a moment if it's possible. And then when you're ready, you'll breathe in, take your arms overhead, bring your feet in a little bit narrower. Hook your thumbs above you. Pull on your hooked thumbs. Lift your arms up more. Send your buttock flesh down so that your frontal hips are strong. And then take a little standing back bend. It's not going very far. Pelvis is pressed forward, chest is angled back slightly. My abdominals shake immediately. So if you're standing with your butt sticking out behind you, just be careful. Send your buttocks down, tailbone down. It's not tucked, but it's moving more in that direction. You'll come forward, you'll sweep forward, binding your fingers if possible behind your back. Send your knuckles overhead, drop your brain down. Close the palms more tightly if it's available. You're going to come to halfway lift / chair pose. So Ardha Utkatasana. Bend your knees, your ribs are probably right on your thighs, crown of your head straight forward. You're going to take another breath like this. And then from here, get springy a little bit. You're going to step back with your left toes, tap your knee, and lift your chest. So your back bend, your knuckles might come to your back hamstrings. You could put them against your sacrum if that's really not something that's workable for you. Broaden your collarbones. Take another breath. And then you'll just sweep your arms up for your in-breath. And then land your hands and step to down dog, simple as possible. Push your hands strongly, take a deep breath. Tuck the chin, inhaling plank. Knees down, child's pose. Exhale, untuck the toes. Keep the chin tucked, come up to cat. Exhale, pelvis first, snake down into cobra. Take an inhale. Through the knees, back to child's pose. Cat pose is your in-breath. Left knee to left thumb. Toes straight back, come to your tented fingers, tuck your back toes. Lift your chest. Block your hands if you want to. And you're going to lift your knee and contract. So tuck your chin and round your shoulders and feel the belly lift a lot. If you can, reach with your back heel. Press the right big toes firmly into the floor. Now you'll tap your knee and inhale, chest up. Exhale, bend the elbows, wave the spine down. Breathe in, just straighten your elbows. Breathe out, round spine, contract. Last time. Exhale, bend the elbows. Let the palms get flat this time though. You'll straighten your arms, breathing in. And then you'll do the same with the back leg, but pull the left knee to the belly. Take three-legged dog, left leg up and back. Bend the knee, open the hip, open the ribs. Look under your right shoulder, find your left toes in your vision, and then send them further backwards. To your right. Maybe left finger tops. Check your right kneecap is pointing mostly straight forward. Now bring your leg back toward center, square off the hip for a sec, step outside your left pinky. Back knee down, right hand widens and turns out, left foot turns out. Press left hand against the inner knee, flex strongly left foot, and then turn your sternum toward your right wrist. Keep strong flex of the spread of the left toes, let's say. And then you can turn your left toes a little more straight forward. Bend your back knee, and if possible, reach for your back foot with your left fingers, or if you could use your towel to hook the foot or whatever you need to do, or if you have a strap. But pull your foot in tighter, and then roll towards your inner knee skin, and then come across the top of the thigh and go toward the outer knee skin. And go back and forth if possible. Make sure you're still breathing. If you feel ready, come to more neutral. Don't slingshot the foot, step it back, put your fingers down, straighten both of your legs to pyramid, or put your back knee down. So it's wide pyramid, left foot flex if you can. Push the fingers forward and pull the heel of the left foot backward. Last breath here. You're gonna bend left knee. Step right foot wide, squat low. Elbows inside the shins. One breath in. Fingers down, butt up, parallel your feet. Keep them wide. Take halfway lift. This one is soft. Hardly any suction. Roll up. Arms go up, you breathe in. More vigorously. Tuck the chin on empty. Stay empty momentarily. Press your hands into your thighs. Ribs widen. Mock inhale. When you need to, breathe in. Stand up. Narrow the feet to hip width. Hook the thumbs the other way. Firm buttocks. Firm belly. Do a little back bend. So your abdominals are lengthening here. But if you're holding your center tightly, that's why you see me shaking so much, because it's eccentric contraction of the abdominal wall. Now come straight upright. Circle the hands behind you, bind the fingers the other way from before, fold over your legs. Stay for a breath. Ardha Utkatasana. Bend your knees deeply, chest straight forward, buttocks and knuckles pretty much straight back. And you're gonna step your right foot back, tap the knee, lift your chest, Anjaneyasana. You might press into your back thigh, you might just send your knuckles down, but lift your chest, firm your belly. You're gonna sweep your arms up on a breath in. Lower your hands, down dog, simple as possible. Deep breath in. Sigh or something. Chin tuck, plank pose, inhale. Knees down, child's pose, exhale. Fold in half. Chin tucked, up to cat. Pelvis first, cobra is your exhale. Stay, breathe in. Through the knees, child's pose, maybe finger tops. Cat spine, inhale. Right shin slides forward, neutral pigeon, exhale. Take a breath in, lift your heart. Exhale, bend your elbows, wave down. Straighten your arms, breathe in. Lift your back knee and round, breathe out. Tap the back knee, flatten the palms. Pull the right knee right up to the chest as you exhale. Three-legged dog, go way up. Maybe finger tops, right hip opens, right leg falls to the left. Take a breath like this. Let the leg drift further back. Inhale, center. Knee to right shoulder, step wide of the pinky. Back knee down, lift your chest, it's just a breath in. Straighten both legs if you can, wide pyramid, exhale. Bend your knee, inhale. Step to squat, wide feet, hands together. Take one breath in. Fingers down, lift your butt, parallel your wide feet. Take a halfway lift. Softly empty. Roll up slow. When your arms go up, you breathe in. More vigorously. Hands maybe on the knees this time. Tuck the chin on empty. Pause. Push into your thighs, wide ribs like you faked an inhalation. When you're ready, take your arms up. Bring your feet narrower, hook your thumbs. Take a deep breath in, go a little back. Fold, interlace your fingers. Exhale. Ardha Utkatasana, breathe in. Left foot steps, tap your knee gently, lift your chest. Exhale, maybe knuckles down. Breathe in, arms up. Hands down, down dog. Deep breath in. Steadily out. Chin tucks, plank pose. Knees down, child's pose. Chin tuck, cat. Exhale to cobra. Stay and breathe in. Through the knees. Maybe to your fingertips as you breathe in, cat. Left shin forward, neutral pigeon. Take a breath in, tuck your back toes. Exhale to bend your elbows. Straighten the arms. Contract, back knee lifts, spine round. Knee down, palms flat. Left knee to the chest, exhale, plank. Three-legged dog, go slow. Left fingertips, open hips, and the toes to your right. Take a breath here. Send them further back as you exhale. And then bring it towards center. Step outside your pinky. Back knee down, lift your chest. Exhale, pyramid, wide legs. Bend the front. Step to squat, hips low. Elbows inside the shins. Take a deep breath in here. Put your fingers down, lift your butt up and parallel your wide feet. Take a halfway lift. Softly empty. On empty, roll up. When your arms go, breathe in. More vigorous, hands on the knees. On empty, pause, tuck the chin. Round spine. Push the ground away. Stand when you need to, arms overhead, feet narrower. Hook your thumbs. Take an inhale, back bending. Fold, interlace the fingers. Ardha Utkatasana, breathe in. Right foot steps, knee down, lift your chest. Back bend, exhale. Release the arms up. Down dog. Take a deep breath. This is a bit strange. Lift your heels high. Turn toes, all 10 of them, a little to the right side of the room, and then bend your knees and stick your butt up and back. So it's often referred to as accordion. Come to center, toes forward, and then take them to the left and stick your butt back. Now you're gonna add Bhastrika Pranayama to that. Come to center, it's gonna be in center, out twist. In center, out twist, kind of quickly. Come to center, breathe, sigh or something, and then walk toward the front. Set your feet more hip width or together as you prefer. Take a halfway lift, round spine fold. Bend your knees deeply, firm your belly slightly and start to roll up to stand. All the way upright. If you have a rolled towel, I'm going to suggest rolling it so that it's thinner. If you didn't roll the towel, just roll it up somehow that's relatively long and relatively thin. You're going to put that at the front of your hips. And I should have mentioned before teaching you Nabanda, I assume a lot of you are familiar with it, but if you are pregnant or if you just had a big breakfast, you don't want to do Nabanda. If it feels okay, you'll play with this. So same situation for this, belly massage. Hold opposite elbows, if that's comfortable, and let your body drape forward. Let your elbows be heavy, let your head be heavy, and then try to breathe around the towel so that your abdomen softens enough to receive the pressure of the towel. So the breath moves more into the kidney band. Switch the cross of your elbows. Sway or stay still, take another 2 breaths. If you're ready, release that. Bend your knees more so you can get the towel out from your hips. And then stand and take a moment. How are y'all doing? You will stand in Tadasana. So you can have your feet together or hip width as you prefer. Is someone on that? Good. So, however you prefer. But for those of you who maybe aren't that familiar to my classes, make sure that you understand Tadasana has engagement. It's not just standing there. But take your hands to hold your pelvis protect. Send the flesh of your buttocks down slightly. If you're round in your lumbar, you went too far. But don't stick your butt back either. Come to the middle, arms straight down. You're going to exhale completely here. And then as you breathe in, sweep your arms forward and up, lift your shoulders. Keep the buttock flesh pulling down even as you begin to fold. So there's that same tension at the hips. Halfway lift as you breathe in, heart forward. And then you can step or hop as you prefer. Point the feet, back bend of your choosing. Stand strongly in your hands. If it's up dog, tuck your chin, round your shoulders and lift yourself up through toward downward facing. Push your hands strongly to the floor. Send your hip sockets further up and further back. You can have a steadier breath pace. As you breathe in, lift your heels. Bend your knees deeply, step or lightly spring. Halfway lift as you get there. I like to add a wrist stretch here as I fold, so backs of the hands down. Press your feet, rise up. Arms sweep. Join your palms as you exhale. Tadasana. Go up as you breathe in. Fold, firming outer hips, firming your legs generally. Come up halfway. Step the other foot first or hop if it's in your practice. Back bend of your choosing. Round spine to lift you up, down facing. Push strongly. And notice what happens. Are you comfortable being still for a few breaths here? Do you start to like pedal your feet all over the place? I like to joke that pedaling the feet is like constantly cycling through all the apps on your phone, which is probably extra real in this moment. And we all do it, it's fine, just notice it. And once in a while, come to down dog and be there. Be steady. So I'm going to give you the next 3-4 minutes to continue this on your own. So you'll lift your heels, look forward, step or hop if you're going. Maybe this morning you're going to rest and skip the next 3 variations of Surya. Maybe some of you will do 2 more and play with handstand for a few breaths. Use a wall if you need it. Stay in the realm of Surya Namaskar if you can, so there's no lunges in A. So hopefully you have these 3 or maybe 5 breaths in down dog. Challenge yourself to 5, it's a lot. And then those of you who want to keep flowing, do this 2 more times. Those of you who maybe don't, I'm going to give you another option. So you'll tap your shins down, knees about as wide as your hips. Keep going if you're taking sun salutation. We'll take Supta V, maybe, some of you. So if you can, take your thumbs into your calves and move them out of the way. Sit between your heels. This would be a really good place for the blanket to come in under your butt, probably, or a block if you have it. And then take your hands behind you. Now maybe you just stay here. You might lift your bum and think about tailbone toward the back of the knees. So you'll lift your frontal hips, so probably feel deeper just for that. And then lower down a little bit further. I like to widen the hands and come down onto the elbows, which I like to call Hanlon's beach pose. That's a Annie Carpenter reference. I didn't make that up, although she said Venice Beach. Now, some of you might come further down and come all the way onto your back. So the rest of you who are flowing should be probably entering the last one in the next few breaths. We'll meet up in about 10 breaths at the front of the mat. If you're in Supta Virasana, give it a few. Now those of you who are in Supta V, if you know how to exit gracefully, do your thing, but try to bring your elbows in a little tighter, prop yourself up onto your elbows and walk them back a little bit, so you kind of come back to that beach pose, and then widen hands and straighten elbows to come up to sit. Come up and take a down dog for a moment, just to relieve the backs of your knees a little bit. In the next few breaths, you should all be ready to come back toward the front of the mat, so if that is correct, move your way there. Fold over your legs, drop your brain down, whatever you need to do there. And then bend your knees deeply and begin to roll yourself slowly upward. Or however you're comfortable getting to stand. I'm going to turn to the camera for this. You can stand however you like. But you're going to lift your right leg up. I'm going to mirror this. Hold the big toe if it's possible. If that's not in your practice, bind your fingers underneath the hamstrings of that lifted leg. And then if it's possible, extend the leg forward. Left hand might be in the low back to start. Make your standing leg straighter first. Upper inner thigh back. Hug your outer right hip down slightly. And push the big toe into the fingers. Eventually your left arm might go up. But your left arm is reaching, like Urdhva Hastasana in the left side of the body, which is just the arms up, Tadasana, if you're not that familiar. You'll open your right leg to the diagonal. Left arm goes left as a counterweight. Now you'll notice your right hip will try to hike up high on you, and if possible, you're going to scoop your right buttocks down, push it forward. Widen the inseam of the leg, straighten the standing leg. Last breath. Bring your leg to the middle. Arms up for a sec, and then lower your foot, take your arms down and stand. And if you can, stand in stillness for a moment. From here, left leg lifts, bind underneath, or hold the big toe. Extend the leg forward in whatever variation you're using. Push the big toe mound toward the front of your space, or out in front of you. Straighten your standing leg more. Maybe your lifted leg stays bent. But pull your lifted leg hip down a little, away from the armpit of the same side. Upper inner thigh of standing leg back. You're going to open the lifted leg to the diagonal. Ensure that the hip doesn't hike up, down a little, forward a little. The leg is not meant to get sideways. If your hips are aligned, there's no way. Last breath. Draw to center, arms up, and place the foot down, lower your arms down. Take a second. Face back to the front of your mat if you turned. Have your feet hip width or together. You'll bend your knees for chair pose. Take a deep breath in. Fold as you exhale. And lengthen halfway. You can step or hop or skip vinyasa. Round to lift. Slide your right shin forward. Not quite as far as forward as earlier, it's a little further back this time. Turn your back heel down to the ground. Press your right hand firm, take your left arm up. You've been here before, the very, very beginning of practice. Put your left hand behind your head. Push head back into the hand and open the chest a little bit more. See if you can press your right pelvis a little more toward the space in front of you. Take another breath like this. And then if possible, you're going to push more strongly into your right hand. Hover your right shin, bring elbow to knee in front of the chest. Think of it like a cat pose more so. Make your back leg straighter if you can. Try not to pull on your head though. And then left hand down, right leg up. Bend the knee, open the hip, flirt with that thing from earlier, just for the breath out, and then come to the center. Step in between your hands. Back heel comes down straight to warrior two. So you're probably going to heel to arch, so whatever you need. Flip your palms face up. Bend your right knee generously. Press your inner right knee toward outer right knee. And then make the back upper thigh firmer. So the back leg is working Tadasana, which is the same thing as your standing leg of the balance pose that you were just doing. Take one more breath. Back leg firm. Now super slow. Straighten your front leg, take your arms up. You're going to place the back of your left hand to the back of your left leg, hardly any pressure there, and then start to side bend, letting the right pelvis lift up more, and keeping both sides of the waist longer. You can think of sharpening your front leg more. And then you'll come back upright, tilt your pelvis, so right hip now down, left hip now up. Keep that bend the elbow. Sorry, bend the knee. Elbow to the inner thigh. Maybe you reach down, catch the ankle. This is just a preferable variation for me. You can take a hand to the block or the floor or whatever. Stretch your left arm overhead, hold the base of your skull. Head into the hand. Left elbow and armpit turning open. And then make your back leg straighter. Take one more breath here. And then you're going to pull your left elbow, listen or look if you need, down towards your right elbow. So you're folding, almost like a humble warrior variation. Pull your right buttocks in, and then go back open, straighten the lifted arm, and then straighten your right leg, coming right into triangle pose. Slip your left hand around your back for a sec. Pull the flesh of your right buttocks back and in. Lift the kneecap if possible. and then left arm over top of the ear. You are pushing into the ankle, which is very different than hovering it. Hug your right hip in. Take one more breath. Now look down. Take your hands down, widen your right foot, come to the ball of your back foot, so wide lunge and then wide pyramid. Take a breath like this. Full breath out. You're gonna rebend your knee, ground your hands, step halfway back. If you wanna take a little handstand hop here, just think about the idea of it if that's not something that's super comfortable for you. And then eventually make your way through a vinyasa, or straight to down dog if you prefer. From down dog, you're gonna tap your knees, inhale right to cow. Go to child's pose as you exhale. Come to fingertips and roll up into seated. Slide all your fingertips behind you, lift your chest, reverse cow, and then maybe lift your pelvis like a baby camel pose. Take another deep breath in here, and then you're gonna sit your butt and catch your knees and round your spine. Take a deep breath here, full breath out. And slide your hands forward, come right to plank pose. And then downward facing dog. Your left shin slides forward, not quite as far as neutral pigeon from earlier. Turn your back heel down, take your right arm up. You may angle your left shin if you find it hard to be here. Press your head into your right hand. Turn the elbow ribs toward the ceiling. Press the left pelvis more forward, as if it wants to see the ceiling. One more breath. Now see if you can hover your left shin, pull elbow to knee. They might not touch, don't worry about that. Make sure you're not pulling on your head. Rounder in the spine. Now right hand down, ball of right foot, left leg up, take it way out to your right like earlier, and then bring it to center. Step it right between your hands, back heel down, straight to warrior two. Palms up for today. Bend your left knee a lot. Inner knee toward outer knee, just slight. Back thigh firmer. Maybe you bend the knee more. See if you can keep your left pelvis from dropping. Last breath. And straighten front leg, rise the arms, back of the right hand, back of the right thigh, left hip lifts. Both sides of the waist are relatively long. Come through center, tilt your pelvis the other way, left hip down, right hip up. Keep that, bend the elbow. Hold the ankle or whatever you did before. Right arm goes overhead, and then bend the elbow, hold the base of the skull. Head into hand. Your left elbow is pressing your left knee wider. Left buttocks firming underneath of you. Back leg sharper. Last breath. You're going to take right elbow toward left elbow crease. Pull your left buttocks under you more, and then send your right arm straight up. Straighten your left leg, triangle right from there. Right arm reaches overhead. Lift the kneecap of your left. Pull your right hand behind you. Hug the left hip in manually. And then when you're ready, right arm goes over there. Turn the ribs more open to the right and stretch the right arm even longer. Last breath. You're going to come down into wide lunge. So left foot to the edge. Exhale, wide pyramid. Take a breath here. And bend the knee, round the palms. If you want, half step and hop, or skip it. Take vinyasa or go to dog. Take a deep breath. Sigh or something. Tap Tap the knees, inhale, cow. Child's pose, exhale. Fingertips, roll to seated. Fingers behind you, lift your chest. Pose, inhale. Down dog, exhale. Right knee slides forward. Turn your back heel down, take your left arm up. Hand behind the skull, take an inhale here. Elbow to knee, just the exhale, round your spine. Put your knee down and inhale back where you started. Exhale, elbow to knee. Last time. Now left hand down, right leg up. Bend the knee, open the hip, just the breath out. Center. Step between your hands, back heel down, warrior two. Exhale, settle deeply. Super slow, front leg straight. Left hand down your back thigh. Come back up. Tilt the pelvis the other way, ribs forward. Bend the knee, side angle. Hold the ankle if you can. Take a breath in here. Hand behind the head. Exhale, elbow to elbow crease. Go back up. Right leg straight, triangle pose. Stay for a breath. Left arm over the ear if possible. Spin the ribs more open. Now look forward. Put your left hand outer left buttocks. Right fingers to the corner of the mat or on a block. Back leg lifts into your left palm. Put more bend in your right knee than you would ever think for half moon pose. And then widen the inner knee toward the outer knee. Keep that. Left arm goes up maybe. You might float the whole body away from the floor and use no hands. You might flatten your right palm and go lower. Play with either. Last breath like this. You're going to bend the knees, step back, widen the right foot, wide lunge, and then exhale, straighten both legs, wide pyramid. Bend your knee, ground your palm, step to down dog. Take a deep breath in, sigh or something. Slide your left shin forward, right to second side. Back heel down, right arm up. Hold the base of your skull, take your inhale here, and then elbow to knee, just the exhale. Tap the knee, inhale, the arm up. Elbow to knee, exhale. Last time. Right hand down, left leg up. Exhale, take the foot wide. Center, breathing in. Step between your hands, back heel down. Inhale, you rise. Exhale, arrive. Inhale, go up. Exalt triangle, just the breath up. Come back up. Tilt the pelvis, bend the knees, side angle pose. Right hand behind the head, take a deep breath in. Elbow to elbow crease, just the exhale. Go up. Right arm overhead, exhale, straighten the bottom leg, triangle, take one breath here. You're gonna inhale, look forward, bend the knee, left fingers to the corner, right hand to the outer buttocks. Put way more bend in your left knee than you think. Take it wider towards your outer knee and then lift your back leg more. Then maybe lift your left arm, maybe your right arm. Use a block, put your palm down. But stretch your lifted leg longer. Keep your standing knee from caving in. Last breath. You're going to step back, widen left foot. Take an inhale, wide lunge. Exhale, wide pyramid. Bend your knee. Ground your hands. You can hop or not. Down dog when you're ready. Take a deep breath there. Any kind of sound. Tap your knees, cow. Child's exhale. Roll up, seated, fingers behind you. Take a deep breath in here. Catch your knees, breathe out, round your spine. Plank, inhale. Down dog, exhale. Lift your right leg, big breath in. Skip the shin coming down, step to warrior two. Take an inhale. Arrive as you exhale. Front leg straight. Side bend the back leg. Center, inhale. Tilt the pelvis, bend the knee. Side angle pose. Hand behind the head, inhale. Elbow, elbow crease as you exhale. Go up, one breath. Straighten right leg, triangle, exhale. Bend right knee, look forward, float it if you can. Half moon pose, just a breath in. You're gonna step back, widen the right foot, inhale, wide lunge. And then exhale, 2 straight legs, wide pyramid. Now it changes, come forward, ground your palms, right leg up, 3-legged dog. Bend the knee, open the hip just for a sec. You're gonna come to center, you're gonna bring your knee towards your chest and step your foot to the left. Maybe closer to your hands, maybe not. And then turn your back heel down, hand behind the skull, press the front of the right hip more toward the ceiling and get longer on all sides of your neck. And then this is a little ode to Miss Jamie Horn. If possible, bend both of your knees and shift your pelvis down toward your right foot. Maybe you stretch your left arm behind you. Some kind of fucked up wild thing, I don't know. Take another breath. And then straighten both legs, put your left hand down. Listen, put your butt right down on the floor so you'll sit in a straddle. And I'm gonna turn to face you. Surprise! Okay, so straddle legs. You're gonna put your right fingertips outside of your right seat pretty wide. And then put the back of your left hand against your outer, probably around your outer knee. And then you're gonna slide or kind of saw the left arm down the outer right leg. Notice that your left buttocks is lifting and heavy in. Now as you inhale, come right up out of it, just come up to tall, slide your hand along the thigh, and as you exhale, slide down the lower leg, but grounding your left buttocks. Do it again. Up on the in-breath. Forward, slide down the outer leg, exhale. Again. Now pause a moment. Ground left hip, firm left thigh, left heel, and then you might cross your forearms and hold the foot with both hands. Turn your ribs toward the right knee, and then gently fold like that, but keep your left buttocks heavier. It's actually significantly deeper with your left buttocks heavier than it would be if you pulled your face right to your right foot. Okay, come back up, right? You're gonna be bending your right knee and turning back to the front of your mat. I turned around, so I'm just gonna face this way. Down dog. Take a deep breath, sigh or whatever. Just lift your left leg. Bend your knee, open your hip. Center, step between your hands, right to warrior two. Come up strong. Exhale, settle steadily. Come up as you inhale. Back of right hand down, back shin. Come back up, tilt the pelvis to the diagonal, bend your knee, hand hold the ankle if you can, hand hold your head if you can, and then elbow to elbow crease. Left buttocks in, go back up, straighten the arm. Triangle, exhale. Look down, bend your knee. Float into half moon or whatever you did last time. Just stay for one breath, briefly lift your lifted leg, and then step back. You're gonna widen the left foot, wide lunge. Straighten both legs, wide pyramid. Bend your knee. Ground your hands, left leg up. Bend the knee, open the hip, do whatever. And then bring your knee more towards your chest. Turn your back heel down, step your left foot wide. Wood in front of you, maybe even closer to the front of your mat. Right hand behind the head again. Both legs straight. Left pelvis turning toward the ceiling if possible. And if your wrist was not appreciative of this time in here last time, don't do the next part if you don't want to. If you can, you're gonna bend both of your knees. The back knee won't bend a whole lot. Right arm might reach up and behind you. Now, don't move your feet. Straighten both legs. Sit your butt right to the floor. Upavishta, surprise. Left fingers outside the foot, buttocks. Back of the right hand to the outer left shin. Slide down. Notice your right hip wants to lift. Push it heavy. And then inhale, just come up out of it. And you'll exhale to, again, saw your right arm down your outer leg. So you breathe in, come right up out of it. Right hip heavy. Exhale, reach along the outer thigh. One more time. Now maybe hold the foot with one or both hands, do whatever you did last time. Heavy your right buttocks. And then drop your brain and take a couple of steady breaths. And then start to bring yourself upright. Fold your left knee. Turn back to the front of your mat. Step to a down dog. You're going to step your feet wide outside of your hands and sit your hips low. Take your seat to the floor. And if you have a block, grab it, bring it close. If you don't have a block, you should have a towel. So I'm going to ask you, if you did switch the roll before, now roll it from the narrower end, so you've got a thicker tube that's also shorter, and keep that close by. And then you'll kind of back bend of your choosing. So I'm going to cue wheel pose, because I assume you know how to go to a bridge pose, but you can take whatever back bend suits your practice right now. So if you want to follow me, I'll cue you the wheel pose. Your feet are equidistant from your hips. They're under your knees, not necessarily right up against your buttocks. Take your palms to face the ceiling, like you're gonna do a plank pose on the ceiling. And then bend your elbows and set your hands on either side of your head. If possible, walk your hands wider and turn your fingers out toward the long edges of your mat so that your elbows narrow quite naturally and they'll come more in toward your periphery. And you'll press your feet, lift your pelvis. You might come to the crown of your head. Don't put too much pressure there if you can avoid it. And then come right up to wheel if it's comfortable. You might straighten your arms. You might start to straighten your legs and shift your shoulders more over your wrists. That will not work for everyone, so try to find a positioning where it actually feels really good for you. Take 5 or 8 breaths. Try to land on the space between your shoulders. Try to tuck your chin on the way down, if possible, so your shoulder blades come to the floor first. And then move your wrists around, widen your feet, and knock your knees. With all of my teachers, we don't pull the knees right into the belly. There's kind of a common direction that you want to immediately counter a pose, but there's maybe, you know, how much do we need that? An immediate counter? Not sure. So from the peak of something like wheel pose, how can you down-regulate your energy? Slow breath, just rest in neutral. Now, if you want deeper back bends, if you want to continue with back bending, you're well prepped for it. You're welcome to continue with wheel pose if you want to. I'm going to cue you to supported bridge. So I'm going to use the towel just because I've been liking it as an option these days. Make sure it's under your sacrum, just around the crack of the bum, not in your lumbar spine. And then lengthen one or both of your legs. Toes will roll out. Heels will sit more inward. Arms can rest at your sides. You might even lift your arms overhead and hook your thumbs and pull your arms further behind you. The breath is full, but hopefully it's not as thick as Ujjayi breath. So take another few breaths there. That's if you feel like you've had enough there. Take the blanket out from underneath of you, widen your feet. You can start to sway your knees side to side a few times, like windshield wiper kind of situation. And then beyond that, well, actually, if the towel is still close by, it would be nice to use for this, back under the pelvis, right where it was before. And then you'll cross right shin, right thigh above left for Gomukhasana if you can. And you might need to lift your head and shoulders. See if you can catch hold of your heels or your Achilles with your palms, and then put your head back down if possible, and think of pulling your feet around towards your sides. So the lift of the blanket gives you more ease getting into it, but I also find it makes it deeper. And then what if you tried to lengthen your tailbone down toward the towel? You won't arch your low back, but think what you would need to do to try to arch your low back. And then if you really like that, you can stay longer, and if you're ready, you can just switch. Just a moment to let the back of the pelvis be more spacious. And a little stretchy for your glutes. Maybe tailbone toward the floor, as if low back is going to try to lift away from the floor. And then some of you might need longer there. If you took a little longer before, do what you need to. Send your legs up, give them a gentle, like weird little flop. And then you'll set your feet down, take the blanket out, draw your knees in over your hips. And if possible, you'll come up into a seat. And I would use the blanket again. So you're gonna put it underneath the backs of your knees. Your legs are long but pretty bent. And then you'll wrap your arms underneath of your shins and hold on to opposite elbows. Wiggle your bum back till your arms rest on the blanket. And then drop your head if possible. Keep the space between the shoulder blades very broad. And see if you can hold at the top of your inhalation. And then maybe briefly holding around empty. If you flexed your feet, it might feel a little deeper. It also might just be a nice place to let everything go. In the next few breaths, if you feel ready, come up, and I'm going to sit, but I'm going to ask you to find your way to Shavasana. If you are newer to practice, if you can avoid skipping this part, I highly recommend it. So join us if you can. You can put your legs up on a couch. You could put the rolled blanket under the backs of your knees. Try to find a place where you're really heavy and really easeful. I'm just not going to lie down because I might drift off, but I'll cue you through a bit of breath work and we'll give you a few moments to chill. Okay. So simple as possible, Shavasana or something similar. And I'll give you a moment to get there. Situate yourself so that you're really comfortable. Move your tongue around your mouth and unstick your molars. Nod your head. Do what you need to be able to commit to the pose for a few minutes. Now I'll ask you, as long as you're in a comfortable place, take your attention to the crown of your head, which is a lifted point away from the floor. And I want you to inhale with your attention in the crown of your head. And then as you exhale, you're going to down slope to the basin of your skull, so the back of your head where it's against the floor. As you breathe in, you'll come up into the inner curve of the back of the neck. And with the exhale, down slope into the upper back, thoracic spine. You'll breathe in, up into your lumbar. You'll breathe out to the basin of your sacrum. You'll breathe into your tailbone, which is lifted upward away from the floor. And then exhale back to the sacrum, down slope. Inhale, a curve of the lumbar, up slope. Down into the thoracic, upper back, into the nape of your neck, out to the base of your skull, the back of your brain. Breathing in, peek at your crown. And then try to fall down on your own a couple times. Exhale, back of skull. Inhale, nape of neck. And then on your own, continue. Be patient with yourself when you get distracted from it.